Hey there, everybody. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another episode of What's Hot with Sea of Tranquility, bringing you new album reviews all the damn time. I realized I was remiss in not reviewing the two yesterday and today reissues from Rock Candy, which did just come out not all that long ago. I think I showed you guys that I picked these up from Rock Candy, but I never did the actual review of them. So, of course, we're talking about Yesterday and Today from 1976. And then Struck Down from 1978, when the band was still called Yesterday and Today. Of course, very famously shortened to YNT. Are either name great? I don't know. Depends on what you think, right? We all know them as YNT, but Yesterday and Today, and that's what YNT stands for, was what they went under originally. So, of course, Rock Candy has reissued these. Remaster and Reloaded is what they call these editions. And I did want to kind of talk a little bit about each one of them briefly, just so you kind of can see and know what you're getting involved in here. So, of course, the debut album, recorded at his master's wheels in San Francisco, California, produced by Louis Brammy for London Records. Of course, they were originally signed to London Records. So let's take a look here at the reissue from Rock Candy. And, of course, these albums feature the original lineup of Dave Meniketti on lead guitar, lead and backing vocals, Joey Alves on rhythm guitar backing vocals, Phil Kennemore on bass backing and lead vocals on one track, and Leonard Hayes on drums, lead and backing vocals. So this is back when they were all kind of, Dave hadn't really come forth as the true voice and one only voice of YNT, or Yesterday and Today. That would happen shortly thereafter, where he became the main singer. So here, okay. Underneath here, yeah, shows you which other one that they've released, which I will get to in a second. I like how they always do that. It's like, here's the other releases from this band in this series, and the Rock Candy booklets are always great. Nice history of the album, of the band, all relative to the release, which is really cool. Nice live shots. They always throw in some cool live shots. And then, of course, you got your full credits here, right? So this album, and they both sound very different from each other. First of all, the production on both is like night and day. This debut is very much rooted in like mid-70s American kind of heavy rock. When I listen to this album, I'm thinking like Montrose, that sort of heavy rock, right? Very, very much American. Big, bold, bluesy, hard rock riffs, smoking solos, great vocals, and very anthemic, thudding, groovy hard rock tunes, right? Animal Woman is kick-ass on here. 24 Hours a Day is such a kick-ass song. What a great riff. I actually, a couple months ago, I figured out and learned how to play that riff, and it's just so cool. I never once even bothered to try, but I was listening to this reissue. I'm like, man, that riff is so great. I want to play that. Very cool. Got Game Playing Woman on here. Come On Over is on here. My Heart Plays Too. Earthshaker's on here. Go figure, right? My Heart Plays Too is great. Fast Lady's Very Slow Gin. Alcohol is totally ridiculous and stupid and lunkheaded, but it's great. And then Beautiful Dreamer, terrific track. There's just loads and loads of riffs on here. I love the guitar tones on this album. Again, it's just that very kind of like mid-70s American heavy rock guitar style and tones, and just simple yet effective, anthemic, bluesy heavy rock songs. Very, very well done. Right out of the gate, they just kind of knocked it out of the park on that. And again, these albums were basically ignored, right? They did not do anything, didn't make any money for the band. The label didn't really push them or anything. It just, what are you going to do? The second album, of course, is Struck Down. And this recorded at the record plant in Sausalito in Los Angeles. London Records, produced by Jimmy Robinson. So this is very different from a production standpoint. Same band, obviously. You've got a little help on piano on, I believe, one track from Robert Russ, and then Cherry Curry does a little bit of backing vocals on a track, and Galen Cook does a little bit of organ on a couple things. So this is much, much more of a, I don't even know if I want to call it a metal album, but the way the album is produced, and especially all the distortion on the guitars, it sounds more like a metal album. That this is more like a just kind of bluesy, heavy rock or hard rock album. This sounds more like a metal album. And you can hear right off the bat on the title track "Struck Down," which is just what a riff, so good. Definitely more of a metallic sense on this particular record. You got "Pleasure in My Heart," which is great. "Road" is a kick-ass song. "Nasty Seder" with that very unmistakable vocal kind of inflection that Mustaine has, that Meniketti has, and I've always liked his vocal style, and it really comes out in "Nasty Sadie," which is just such a great, memorable hard rock track. So good. You got "Dreams of Egypt," which kicks ass. "Tried to Show You," "I'm Lost," which is killer, and then "Stargazer" is the last track on the album. And here, like I said, you've got Dave all of a sudden now starting to come into his own as far as like from a vocal perspective. It really starts here. Of course, on the next album is where that really kind of takes shape. But whereas the first album is more of like kind of like a total band approach. But both really good albums. They don't sound anything alike though. That's the kind of cool thing. But both albums are so important to the formation of what Y&T's music would evolve into, starting, of course, with Earthshaker and then Black Tiger and Mean Street and all these other albums that to come afterwards. A lot of the seeds are happening on these albums, but in different stages, so to speak. So within 2 years, though, you can definitely hear the evolution of the band from one to the other. Both really cool, and it's just funny how many people I've talked to in like recent months since these have come out who were more familiar with the Earthshaker and Onwards albums and either hadn't heard or never really were into these albums, and then they come back and they're like, oh, these are really, really good. Yeah, they're of their time. They definitely sound like from when they came, but it's early Y&T or Yesterday and Today in its infancy, and all the seeds are here. And again, you can hear the smoking guitar playing from Meniketti, the great rhythms, the great vocals, and those catchy and memorable songs. And I would argue that there are so many songs on these two albums that if this was on a bigger label and if this album got pushed the way it should have, we might be talking a different story of the Y&T tale today here in 2025, as opposed to how the story is that minimal success, long-standing band, but never really got the credit they deserve, never were as big as a lot of their peers. Because I would argue that there's stuff on these albums that should have been and could have been pushed a little bit more, which would have led up to the greatness that's on Earthshaker, Black Tiger, and Mean Street, that would have ascended those albums greater than they were. Because let's face it, other than Mean Street, the other two albums didn't do much of anything either. Should have. Absolutely. So yeah. So definitely go check out these. Did I show you that? I don't know if I didn't show you the booklet for Struck Down. Come on, Pete, get with the program. Because this is, and by the way, both of these sound great. These have been remastered. They sound really, really good. If you have the old original CD versions, these blow those out of the water. Big and bright and just, great sounding recordings. So there you have it. And there's your credits, right? So very good stuff. Two very different albums, very early albums for Yesterday and Today, Y&T, whatever you want to call them, but a must-hear if you are at all interested in this band and the evolution of this band. This is kind of where it all started. So go check them out. The Rock Candy reissues are fantastic. Enjoy them. Both of these are, as far as the albums go, they're both easily 3.75 out of 5. They're not perfect, but they're very, very cool. Maybe even worthy of a 4, because for me, a good chunk of this catalog is like we're approaching 3.75, 4 and above. But these are really, really good. And the presentation, the sound, and the packaging and all that kind of stuff, that's like 4-star right there. So yeah, very, very cool stuff. Struck Down and Yesterday and Today from Yesterday and Today, otherwise known as Y&T. Go check them out. Visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram all the damn time. Please subscribe if you haven't already and click on that notification bell so you get alerted of all of our content as it posts. And please do hit the like button before you leave. Also down below, we got the links to our Ko-Fi page, our channel donations, our merch page, our Cameo page, and the Sea of Tranquility membership options. All down below. Thanks in advance, everybody, for your support. It's greatly appreciated, and we'll see you soon here with more stuff. I am Pete Pardo. Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.